Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you're doing well. Welcome to another video and welcome to another unhaul. I did not think that I would be filming another one of these so soon, but it is time to get rid of a whole bunch of books. I have a good collection here of books that I have read that I didn't love and I want to get rid of. I have some books that I have read and decided that I don't want to reread or keep them on my shelves. And then I have a whole stack of books that I haven't read that I have just decided that my interest is no longer piqued for these books and I don't feel like I need to keep them for the time being. So I have a lot of books to talk about, so let's go ahead and get into it. I feel like the list of books that I have read is a lot shorter than the ones I have not read, so I'll start with those ones. I'm going to start with Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. I read this a few months back, and I got a good chunk of the way through. I think like more than 100 pages in. I think I was almost halfway, and I decided to DNF it. It just wasn't for me. It was a little bit too scientifical for me. I didn't care for the vibes of the book. It wasn't a book that I loved, so I'm gonna get rid of it. Then we have a memoir that I really enjoyed, and I really enjoyed reading it, but I just don't think that I need to keep it on my shelf or I'm going to reread it, and that is Tuesdays with Morrie by Mitch Albom. It was good. I gave it a 4-star. It was an interesting read, but just not something I will reread. These two books are actually books that I didn't plan on ever unhauling, but I needed some more space on my shelves, and I decided that I don't think that I'm going to reread these, and they are two books by Kristen Proby in the same series, the With Me in Seattle series. The first one here is Stay With Me and then Love With Me. They were adult contemporary romance books. They were really cute, very sweet. I just don't see myself rereading these, so I'm gonna get rid of them. A throwback fantasy book that I still want to read the rest of the series, but I just don't need to keep the first book because I don't ever plan on rereading this ever again, and that is Fallen by Lauren Kate. I was planning on rereading this entire series just to see how it held up. I didn't love the first book. I have higher hopes, let's just say that, for the second book, because I know that when I remember reading them from high school, the books got better and better as the series went on. So I do want to give the second book at least a second chance, but I didn't love this one, so I'm gonna get rid of it. Along the same lines of books that I read in high school that I was rereading and giving a second chance is the Marked series or the House of Night series by PC Cass and Kristen Cass. I have a Marked and Betrayed here. I did read these first two. I do have the rest of the entire series of books on my shelves. I just don't plan on keeping these once I finish my reread, so I'm gonna get rid of these two. Another one that I ended up letting go of because I just wanted some more space, but I did really enjoy this book, and that is Geekerella by Ashley Poston. This is an Cinderella retelling with like a Comic-Con type of thing. It was very cute. I really enjoyed it. I would like to read the rest of this companion novel series. I just don't want to keep this one on my shelves anymore. Another high school throwback that I enjoyed thoroughly back then, and I still enjoyed my reread the first time, but again, not going to keep this series, and that is Divergent by Veronica Roth. I think it's a staple. It's one of those books that I think everybody should read at some point, at least in their younger years, but I just don't see a reason to keep them if I know I'm never going to reread them again. Okay, here's another book that I DNF'd. This is The Daughter by Jane Schmilt. I was actually reading a couple of books in that I was giving authors a second chance. Started that vlog, ended up giving up on it because it was putting me in a reading slump. So I started this one, got about 150 pages in, and decided to DNF it. I'm not going to read it. Alright, then we have This Train is Being Held by Esme Williams. I read this one a few months back. I gave it a 3-star. It was an okay book. I just don't see myself ever rereading it again, and it's a proof, so I don't need to keep it. One that I am disappointed to get rid of, and that's very unfortunate, that is The Black Kids by Christina Hammonds Reed. I really wanted to love this, but I didn't. And that's really hard for me to say because I love to support Black authors writing about Black main characters, but this one just wasn't for me. The story wasn't for me, so that's unfortunate, but I did read it. Another book that I read for that Giving an Authors a Second Chance vlog was Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. I gave this book a 2-star. I really didn't enjoy it. It was not a good time for me. Do not want to keep this. Alright, another book that I DNF'd, and that is The Demon King by Cinda Williams Chima. I gave the first book in the series a good try, but it just wasn't for me. I didn't like the writing style. The storyline was confusing. I didn't care for it, so I am actually going to be getting rid of the rest of the series, but you'll see that later in the book that I haven't read. So yeah, I don't need to keep this. And then we have The Maze Runner by James Dashner. I have talked about not talking about this author much on my channel. Don't want to support him, but I did buy these books, so I'm going to read the rest of the series and then unhaul them and get them off my shelf. Another one, this was one that I had to think hard about letting these ones go, and that's just because they hold such nostalgic value for me. But do I really need them on my shelf if I'm never going to reread them? No. And that is the 50 Shades of Grey series. I do have Darker and Grey on my shelf as well because I will be rereading those ones, but I'm going to let these ones go, and then once I'm done with those other two, I will also unhaul those ones because I don't need to keep them. Sad life, but it is what it is. I loved them in high school, reread them for the first time this time, and I don't need to reread them, I don't think. I'm okay. All right, then we have a duology that I'm actually going to give to a friend, and that is the All of the Stars and Teeth duology by Adeline Grace. I read the first book, I didn't love it. I read the second book and really enjoyed the end of the story. I think that the second book was much better than the first, but I don't see myself ever rereading this series. This is actually an Owl Crate exclusive edition, so I'm sure Mike will be very excited about getting both of these, but I'm gonna go ahead and pass these ones along. All right, 2 more books in a series. I'm gonna get rid of the first 2 books in the selection series. I do have 2 more books in that series on my shelf, but I just don't plan on keeping them after I read them. The series kind of went downhill, but I do want to finish it off since there's only 1 more book in the actual trilogy. I'm not sure if I'm going to read the other one. We'll see. I haven't really decided just yet, but I gave the selection a 3-star and I gave the Elite a 2-star. So didn't love my experience reading them, but I do want to finish out the series because I'm so close. So that's that. All right, a few more books that are going over to Mike. I have The Kingdom of Back by Marie Lu. I really enjoyed this book. I had it on my shelf for so long because the cover on this is stunning, but I'm never going to reread it, and I don't think that I should just keep the book because it has a really pretty cover. So I'm gonna let this one go. This is another one that's going over to Mike, and he's going to hopefully really enjoy it. Then I have If I'm Being Honest by Emily Wimberly and Austin Siegmund Broca. I read this for the Spring Into Reading-a-thon last year. This was the group book, and I really enjoyed it. It was a fun read. Again, don't see myself rereading it, so I'm gonna give it over to Mike. Come here. Bailey intermission. And the last book that I've read, and the last book going to Mike, is Shadow Me by Tahar Mafi. Again, I have the rest of the series on my shelves, but I just don't see myself rereading these after I'm done with the series. So I'm going to get rid of the first one and save some space on my shelves. Okay, up next are books that I have not yet read that I don't want to read anymore. So the first stack I have here is a stack of parenting books that I just decided I'm going to get rid of all the rest of my parenting books because, girl, you know you ain't going to read them. First one we have here is The Expectant Father, Minimalist Parenting, Why a Son Needs a Mom. I actually did read this. It was very cute. Chicken Soup for the Expectant Mother's Soul, What to Expect When You're Expecting, Brain Rules for Baby, Healthy Sleep Habits, Happy Child, What to Expect the First Year. And the last of the parenting books we have Parenting with Love and Logic. We also have a ASL book, The Complete Guide to Learning American Sign Language. I know. I ain't reading this. All right, up next we have classics. I think I've just learned about myself that I am not a classics gal. I have a few classics, maybe 2 or 3 classics left on my shelves that I still want to try to read, but these ones, not happening. So we have Mansfield Park by Jane Austen, Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen, Persuasion by Jane Austen, The Iliad by Homer. Ain't happening. Okay, and then one of the books that was in my These Books Will Self-Destruct video, I have Catch-22 by Joseph Heller. Okay, then we have smutty books and romance books that I just don't think I'm going to get around to. So we have the entire Bride Quartet by Nora Roberts. So we have, let's see, what's this? Happily Ever After, Bed of Roses, Vision in White, and Save of the Moment, of course, by Nora Roberts. Then we have a Lisa Kleypas book, and that is Hello Stranger. This is a book that I picked. I was going to do a historical romance reading vlog. That's not going to happen. I'm going to get rid of this. Then we have The Chosen Sin by Anya Bast. I think I picked it up because on the back it says erotic romance, but I'm not interested in it. Again, for another historical romance reading vlog that I picked this one up. I'm not going to read this. That is Heart's Rebellion by Ruth Axtell. Then we have Brazen and Linger by Maya Banks. I picked up every Maya Banks book that I could find, and then I just realized that I don't need them all. I just don't need them all. And these 2 covers, they are doing it for me, so I'm gonna let them go. Then we have Hard As You Can by Lauren Kate. I think I picked this up for a smutty reading vlog before I had a bunch of other smutty books that I'm more interested in, so letting this one go. I just realized there's a book in here that I actually have read, and that is Running Wild by Linda Howard and Linda Jones. I did read this. I gave it a 3-star. It was okay. I'm not gonna reread this, ever. And then we have Naughtier and Wilder by Laura Lee and Jackie Burton. These are a collection of 2 short story novella thingy-mabobs by 2 authors that are supposed to be smutty, but I ain't gonna read it. All right, we have the first 2 books in the Alex Rider series, and that is Stormbreaker and Point Blank. I have so many more middle grade books that I am more interested in, so I'm going to get rid of these ones. Then we have Year One by Nora Roberts. This is one of her fantasy books that I picked up a long time ago at a library book sale. I'm not gonna read this, okay? All right, and then we have the last stack here. Oh my goodness. We have The Dog Who Saved Me. It is an advanced reader's copy, but it's about a dog. It's a sad dog book. I don't need this in my life. Then we have Blessing in Disguise by Danielle Steele. This is another one that was in that These Books Will Self-Destruct video. Not gonna read it. Here's the rest of the 7 Realms series by Cinda Williams Chima. Then we have Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. Again, it was in that These Books Will Self-Destruct video. Then we have Sex and Vanity by Kevin Kwan. This was part of that vlog that I was doing, giving authors a second chance. I don't want to read it. This is the hardest one that I'm getting rid of today, and that is Blessed Monsters by Emily A. Duncan. This is actually an Owl Crate exclusive edition of this book. I have not read this, but I don't want to support this author. I don't think that she is saying very nice things out there on Twitter, and she is definitely not apologizing in the best way possible. So not an author that I want to support. I don't have the first 2 books in this series, so I'm going to let this go, and I will not be buying any more from her. And the last 3 books are the books that were in my trying a chapter tag that I decided to let go. The first one is A Long Road Home, or The Long Road Home by Danielle Steele. I just didn't want to read about the subject matter. Then we have Luster by Raven Leilani, and this book was weird as fuck, so I'm gonna let this one go. And lastly, we have Truly Madly Guilty by Leanne Moriarty, and the writing just didn't grip me or pull me in, so I'm gonna let this one go as well. That is it. That is the amount of books that I'm getting rid of. It was a lot. Like, I did a great job. I'm very proud of myself. I definitely got rid of some space. However, I've had these stacks sitting on my floor for quite some time. They've just been chilling here. So the reality is I still don't have any bookshelf space because I already filled it. So that's helpful. But yeah, that's the end of this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you made it to the end of this video, put a big X in the comments because we are getting rid of these books. I love it. But yeah, that is the end of this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that this motivated you to do some more unhauling on your shelves, get rid of some books that you aren't gonna reread, aren't gonna read, don't want to keep. You know how it is, you know the drill. But I hope this motivated you even just a little bit to do some summer cleaning since we're no longer in spring. But again, this is the end of this video. I really, really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. And of course, leave any comments, questions, and suggestions in the comment section below. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.